Hello there, and welcome to our Hooded Horse Publisher Showcase at PAX East 2022. Here at Hooded Horse, our passion is indie strategy, simulation, and role-playing games that all offer something unique inside of those genres. We're a new publisher with 10 games set to release steadily over the next year, starting next month. In this next hour, we'll announce multiple new games and premiere never-before-seen trailers, announcements, and footage from historical strategy to space sci-fi, RPG to God games, and more. So thank you for joining us, and let's get ready to see all that Hooded Horse, and much more importantly, these 10 amazing indie development studios have coming your way. First up, let's join Layla and Soren Johnson, lead designer of Civilization 4, to hear about Old World, a historical strategy game with RPG elements, and their new content coming in Heroes of the Aegean. Old World releases on Steam and GOG in less than a month on May 19th.
Hi, I'm Soren Johnson, the lead designer of Old World, a historical strategy game set in the Mediterranean during classical antiquity. Old World starts with 7 nations: the Greeks, Romans, Carthaginians, the Egyptians, Assyrians, Persians, and Babylonians. Old World is a 4X where you step into the shoes of a real character from history. Eventually you will die and your son or daughter will take over, so investing in your dynasty is as important as investing in your cities or your military. Old World has a dynamic narrative engine with over 3,000 handwritten events that adapt to the current game state. No 2 games ever play out the same way, as each time you'll be faced with new choices which lead to different outcomes. Our writers are constantly creating new events, which are added to the game with our frequent updates. We have shipped 80 major updates to the game since our early access release. Old World has a unique order system which changes how you control your units. Instead of moving every unit every single turn, you have a resource called orders, which can be split among your units however you like. You can spend them all on your workers, building mines and farms and wonders, or you can spend them exploring, discovering new nations and landmarks. Or you can spend them on your military, conquering your neighbors and expanding your territory. Old World is coming to Steam and GOG for the first time on May 19th, and we will also be releasing our first expansion to the game, the Heroes of the Aegean. This campaign includes 6 custom scenarios that trace the history of the Greek Empire from Marathon and Thermopylae through Philip's consolidation of Greece and then Alexander's conquest of Persia. This expansion will be free to all owners of the game for the first 2 weeks. We hope you enjoy Old World, so please wishlist it on Steam and GOG to prepare for its release on May 19th.
And now, we have an entirely new game to announce our publishing and reveal to you Sons of Valhalla, a story of love and revenge that takes the son of a Viking Jarl to England, looking to raise an army to track down those who have wronged him. In this 2D side-scroller, you combine action RPG and real-time strategy base building, where you will build forts to protect your resources, lead your armies, and use siege equipment to go on the offensive.
Love, the strongest feeling of all. But what would happen if someone tried to take this feeling away from you? What would you do for the one you love the most?
Before we announce our second new game, let's take a look at Falling Frontier, the winner of E3 2021's Most Anticipated Indie Game Award. Falling Frontier is a space RTS where reconnaissance, ship design, and logistics will prove to be both challenging and essential for your success. Solo developer Todd Darcy will tell you more about the game in this video.
Hey there, my name's Todd Darcy. I'm the solo developer at Starter Fox Studios, and for the past 3 years I've been working on a game called Falling Frontier. It's a sci-fi strategy game that just mixes the close action of naval combat as well as the grand scale of building throughout a star system. It focuses heavily on line of sight mechanics and really visceral combat systems that are layered upon each other. So you'll see projectiles bouncing off of ships, penetrating the whole way through, oxygen venting out the other side. You'll see crew trying to get out, and you'll see these really large explosions, and the ships just get torn apart by physics and they go everywhere. It's fantastic to watch. There's a whole bunch of celestial bodies and a whole range of other places to explore, like a nebula. Ships travel faster than light. They have to jump between points and they consume fuel. Crew have to eat, so they consume food, and of course ships spend munitions whenever they fire. So there's all of these logistical considerations to actually think about when you're actually playing the game. So it's got a lot of the classic things that you would find in a normal RTS, like base building, but it also borrows different elements from the 4X genre, such as ship design, and you can actually come into this ship editor and you can change the different types of weapons that you put on a ship. These all get unlocked via research, and you can just have these custom configurations to just really suit your actual purposes for your flotillas. Further to that, you've also got ship internals as well. So every ship has a bridge, crew quarters, jump drive, engines, stuff like that, and again, you can unlock different components and apply these to every ship just to have a really unique, customized flotilla. But you can also add special abilities like the ability to lay a minefield, or perhaps attach a ship to maybe the underside of an asteroid so it can lay in wait and perhaps do a bit of an ambush or perhaps do a bit of recon. There's really a whole bunch of different options, and it's just really exciting just to have all of these things jammed into sort of an old school RTS. As well, you've got crew, so you've got both enlisted and also command crew. So command crew are really important. They are physical objects on the actual ships, so they can be killed, injured, and they can also be upgraded too, so they can learn perks and skills that will enhance the ships. And here we've got a ship just jumping into the combat area. As mentioned previously, they are physicalized objects, so they're going to push through different asteroids. Projectiles will bounce off of space stations and ships. Some will penetrate through and cause internal damage. Ships can be disabled or they can be destroyed depending upon what kind of damage they actually take. So you'll see ships just starting to lose control and just sort of list away into the distance. You'll see crew trying to actually just escape, which can be captured if it's an enemy crew, or they can be rescued if they're friendly crew. In the event that you capture crew, then they can be interrogated, and perhaps you can find out some different bits of information about your opponent's ship movements, or perhaps there are actual installations. So we can see this space station that's just been destroyed. You need a classic blue light for a big explosion. It's almost a requirement for a science fiction. And you just see this hulking mass just on fire with smoke and flames going everywhere. So yeah, that just kind of sums up what Falling Frontier is, just this visceral space combat experience. Thank you for taking the time to check this out, and yeah, just look forward to seeing you in game. Thank you so much.
Now I'm very excited to announce a second new game that we are publishing, as well as reveal a new trailer along with it. Espiocracy sees you leading one of 74 possible intelligence agencies from the beginning of the Cold War right up to 2020. In this grand strategy game, you will covertly influence the development of history in whatever direction that you choose. We've never seen a video game tackle this subject matter, so let's check out the brand new trailer.
The only way to avoid this catastrophe is to have a new attitude. We must start now.
Today, it is common knowledge. Espionage agents are operating everywhere.
This is a map of divided Germany, west and east, free and communist.
We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other thing, not because they are easy, but because they are hard.
Channel traffic, 8 special missions, 4 air evac, and 2 embassy flights.
Fragile Existence looks to the stars, but don't gaze too long, because humanity is actually on the brink of extinction, and it's your job to keep them alive. Lead humanity's last surviving fleet and its escape from a ruthless pursuant enemy in this space strategy game of survival. Let's have a look.
We used to dream what was out there, yearning to know that we weren't alone in the universe. We thought we were so smart, blundering from one calamity to another. Somehow we actually got out there. There was a new gold rush, an expanding frontier, another chance to prove who we were and what we could be. And one precious moment, we were so close. And then, wow. Turns out we weren't alone after all.
Now we have another new game to show you, Capital Command. Many space simulation games let you fly nimble spacecraft, but Capital Command instead lets you control a giant capital ship with realistic physics, such as needing to turn your ship around and fire thrusters just to actually slow down. You'll have to angle your ship so your guns can see their targets and lay down flak screens to defend yourself from incoming missiles. And along the way, the other ships you defeat can be used to upgrade or replace your own as you battle an overwhelming enemy across the strategic map.
Target coordinates 3-1 uniform. Down copy. Friendly northeast for 1 kilometer.
Down.
Now we go from far future space to Bronze Age Earth. In the Way of Wrath, you have 10 days to strengthen your tribe and prepare your fortress for a coming siege. The Way of Wrath is a blend of RPG and strategy, where your options are many, yet your time is short, and each day you must make hard choices. Do you choose to gather resources or search for allies? Do you raid enemy camps or fortify your own? You'll face the harsh elements and trek through rough terrain in your quest to protect your people. But for now, let's sit back and relax while we watch the trailer. If struggling to survive doesn't fit your mood, what about godlike power? Fata Deum is a god game that lets you become whatever sort of god you like, from the benevolent to the malevolent. Answer prayers or throw a few lightning bolts, whatever suits your mood, but keep an eye out on the god next door as you compete for the faith of tiny mortals. Let's roll the trailer.
The God game genre is back. Do you desire infinite power? You shall wield the power of a god. And you shall lead humanity any way you choose. Will you support the founding families by working good wonders? Encourage them to build farms and schools so they can thrive as their settlements grow? Or will you rule with an iron fist as an evil tyrant, awaken the bloodthirst of mortals, and incite the flames of war to expand your lands with all the means at your command? Will you create a golden age of endless festivity? Inspire your followers to savor all pleasures and rejoice in divine intoxication? Or will you use and deceive your minions with lies and malicious plans? You could promise them an afterlife of sorts. Whatever you decide, mankind will evolve. With a will of their own, they can choose which god to follow. But who will attract the most followers of all? Take up the battle for supremacy against the 4 ancient gods of Illis. Create your legacy as you embark on this epic journey, and feel the growth of your divine power when you destroy all those who dare oppose you. At last, raise a monument to your ultimate triumph. As thousands praise your glory, you will finally realize your fate. With the power of a god, who will you become? Fata Deum.
Alliance of the Sacred Sons is a space strategy game that presents the reverse of most 4X games. You don't start from scratch and expand into a giant empire. Instead, you inherit a crumbling empire and you have to patch it together. Moreover, Alliance presents strategy through an RPG lens. You play the Emperor or Empress, and you will need to play personal politics with your ministers and nobles if you want to stay alive. Alliance of the Sacred Sons has changed a lot since the public last looked at it, so let's have lead developer Steve Hawkins bring us up to speed.
Hi, my name is Steve Hawkins, and I'm the lead developer for Alliance of the Sacred Sons. I want to tell you a little bit about our studio, and most importantly, about Alliance and how we believe it's different from other games in this genre. So, as far as Alliance goes, it's a passion project of mine. I've been working on it about 6 or 7 years. It actually started out as a game called Imperia. It was a free download on SourceForge, and it's kind of grown to become this hybrid 4X RPG. Now, what sets it apart from other 4Xs really is the RPG element. In most 4Xs, you sort of play as a gray eminence. You're sort of the ruler of the empire spanning thousands of years, and you kind of have the ability to do whatever you want, wherever you want, however you want. And in Alliance, we really drill the focus down to the ruler of a single person. You start out as the Emperor or Empress of the Celestial Empire in the year 3050, and the game follows your life as long as it lasts. It follows the decisions you make, the relationships you make, how you grow and expand your personality, your skills, your reputation. and it really focuses on the RPG element. So there's really three main things to consider about Alliance. Number one is you have a limited amount of points to spend during a turn called action points. And these are the things you do everything major with, either projects, talking to characters, creating bills, things that you basically have to do during your reign. You have to deal with characters in your empire. You have 5 other great houses that actually make up the empire, and their house leaders are among some of the most powerful people in the Celestial Empire. And most of them don't like you very much, so you have to kind of build your relationships with them, and if you can't work with them, you have to learn to work around them. So you'll deal with top-level characters. There's very little micromanagement in the game. The second thing is dealing with your population. They're the ones that actually get things done in the Empire. They produce, they research, they build things, they build ships, but they can also become angry and they can leave for other planets or they can leave the Empire entirely. And if they're angry enough, they can even try to assassinate you. Yes, that's right. Death will end your game. In Alliance of the Sacred Sons, you can die. And in fact, when you die, the game ends. Whether by old age, through assassination, through an event of some type, eventually death will come for you. And the goal is to get as much done as possible and make your reign as glorious as possible in the time that you have. Fortunately, you have ways to extend your life, and a big part of the game is also how do you treat yourself? Do you treat yourself well? Do you work yourself to the bone? Health is a big part of the game. If you're always running on the ragged edge of your health, you won't be as effective. Where if you take care of yourself and take the right epiphanies in order to make sure that you're as healthy as possible, you'll live longer and generally have a better reign, although you may be missing out on skills that help you do other things within the game as well. So the 3-part triangle of Alliance is taking care of yourself, navigating relationships with your other characters and houses, and making sure that your people are happy as well. If you can do those 3 things, then you will succeed in the world of Alliance.
Finally, we have Terra Invicta, a grand strategy game from the Long War mod creators. Terra Invicta asks you to choose between 7 playable factions, each with a different approach to an impending alien invasion. Resist the invasion, or aid the aliens in bringing humanity to its knees. Build a giant starship to escape the solar system, or maybe stick around and try and profit from the chaos. Terra Invicta will allow you to manipulate nations on Earth, colonize a scientifically accurate model of the solar system, and fight full 3D tactical battles in space. John Lumpkin, creative director of Terra Invicta, will also give us an introduction into this game.
Hi there, I'm John Lumpkin. I'm the creative director at Pavonis Interactive, an independent studio headquartered outside of Boulder, Colorado. We're making Terra Invicta, a grand strategy alien invasion game. We got our start as hobbyist modders when we created the Long War mod for XCOM in our spare time. About 5 years ago, when that was finished, 2K hired us to make a Long War 2 and other mods for XCOM's sequel. We then had some folks approach us about supporting us as we developed our own title, so here we are. Those of us who made the transition to professional game design joined up with some experienced game developers and artists to work on Terra Invicta. So, about our game. All science fiction is rooted in a core what if, and ours is what if aliens invaded our solar system today. It's really the kind of game I've always wanted to play. We've taken inspiration from all kinds of alien invasion literature and film to tell our story within models of both Earth's geopolitics and our solar system. In Terra Invicta, you, the player, take charge of one of 7 factions of humans with their own unique take on the invasion, such as to resist it, to submit to it, or to just profit from it. Each faction has a unique storyline and victory conditions. During a campaign, players develop a council of up to 6 agents who travel the globe going on missions on your behalf. They're like your party in an RPG, except they are built for the modern geopolitical world. So these are operatives and scientists and celebrities and politicians. These counselors acquire control of what we call orgs, intelligence agencies, NGOs, private companies, and even criminal organizations. They give you various abilities and incomes. You can think of these orgs as your gear. One of your counselor's main goals is to bring Earth's nations to your side so you can access their wealth, military, space program. Ultimately, you'll be addressing the alien invasion in outer space, and you'll need to build an industrial base orbiting Earth and elsewhere in the solar system that can, in turn, build and support your space fleets. You'll use your fleets to protect your stations and bases and project power around the solar system. And, if it suits your faction's goals, battle the aliens or the other human factions in a separate combat layer, which we've built on a model of the actual Newtonian physics you'd encounter in outer space. And one of our goals in the game was to let players explore the strategic geography of the solar system. So planets and asteroids will be placed according to their true orbital elements, and their compositions will determine what resources they produce, such as water, metal, or fissiles, to support the player's space industry and ship construction. I should say our broader intent in developing Terra Invicta isn't to design problems with built-in solutions for you to puzzle out, but instead to give you a big bag of tools to deal with a bigger bag of challenges, and let you take it from there to develop your own strategies. The aliens invading Earth have a variety of weapons at their disposal. At different points in the game, they may focus on subverting Earth's governments, spreading aggressive megafauna, sending warships and an invasion force, or helping pro-alien humans gain ascendance over world affairs. Anyhow, thanks for taking a look.
Taking them down.
Person of interest surveilled.
Mission in progress.
We're taking over.
The people will come to our side.
Long live the revolution.
Targets lost.
We found something. I'll make sure they're on our side.
Prepping for launch.
And with that final trailer, we wrap up our Hooded Horse Publisher Showcase at PAX East. I want to thank everyone for sticking around and taking a look at all of our games. If there's any that you enjoyed watching, you can find every single one up on Steam, ready for wishlisting. And as a new publisher, we want to express our excitement to begin this journey with you. First, as these 10 games release for you to play over the coming year, and then later as we move forward and continue to work with amazing indie developers to bring you new strategy, simulation, and role-playing games. Thank you, and I hope you enjoyed our time today.
The Cold War between Mars and Titan has stretched decades now. You are the commander of the Titan Federation vessel Pinnacle. On your way home to Titan after a diplomatic mission to Ganymede, in need of resupply, you set a course for Anders Station, a port hidden within the billowing clouds of an asteroid cluster known as the Forge.